the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, CHAZ. Later called CHOP, the organized protest. It doesn't really matter. I used to live in Seattle. I left around 2016. My old apartment was north of Cal Anderson Park. It was very close to what became CHAZ. So this has really been a story that's hit close to me since I still have friends who live in Seattle and around the area. I was really taken aback by how the mainstream media is portraying CHAZ compared to what was actually going on there. Early reports by the mayor called this place just a protest.
We've got 4 blocks in Seattle that you just saw pictures of that is more like a block party atmosphere. It's not an armed takeover.
More shots fired, more shots fired, more shots fired, more shots fired.
It's not a military junta. I don't know, we could have the summer of love.
And if you look at other videos of CHAZ, during the day it didn't seem too bad. There were music festivals and people hanging out. But at night, CHAZ turned into a very different place very, very quickly.
Step back if you are not part of security! Step back if you do not!
CHAZ had its share of crazy hippie bullshit, racism disguised as anti-racism.
I want you to find by the time you leave this autonomous zone, I want you to give $10 to one African American person.
And all the other reasons I decided to leave Seattle.
Currently talking about how they are not leaving. They are gonna disobey the mayor. He's basically spilling the details on his little meeting with her. I can't really hear what he's talking about, but, you know, I've heard this for 26 days, so. These are our streets. We're not gonna leave, guys. We don't blah, 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 blah.
It also had shootings.
I do see some, oh, shit.
It had a security force, some of which looked like Power Rangers. Unlike what we want out of police officers, these guys didn't like being filmed.
Okay. You get back. Hey, delete that shit. You get back. Delete that fucking shit. I don't give a fuck.
Hey.
I do not care.
Hey. Sir, you have blood on your forehead. Are you okay?
I'm good. Hey. Who's that boy there's somebody who's back there recording. Tell him to delete this fucking footage.
They didn't like this guy.
Who don't matter? This motherfucker. Who don't matter? This motherfucker.
And most importantly, they hated police. Especially police who were trying to get out shooting victims.
Your fucking gun down! Your gun is gone! What's the hospital? Your gun's gone!
And despite all of this, they still expected paramedics to trust them.
You are clear. We're giving you the clear. We will make sure you're clear. We will make sure you're clear.
And when they didn't, they'd cry racism.
He's dying, bleeding out. If this was your son, you would bust through that crowd right now. But you're not, because it's a black life.
On June 20th, there was a shooting. This silver car was seen speeding away. It may or may not have had anything to do with the shooting, but it doesn't matter because CHAZ security shot up this white Jeep.
Yeah, I was like, I know that dude. That nigga.
Where's the driver of this? Oh my God. Holy smokes.
This guy tells someone with a camera his social media name.
Out here saving lives. Zay Huncho. Zayhunchoo. Rest in peace, my brother that came through. Rest in peace. He had to, but he got clapped, and we brought him to the hospital. But whatever happened, bro. But we out here to save lives and do shit for the people. And this is what happens, bro. So no violence is coming. So whose car is this, though? This is your people's car? This is a stolen vehicle.
And the people involved in the shooting destroyed all the evidence.
Shit!
Unless you see any shells on the ground, pick those up, pocket them, take them home.
Hell yeah, no evidence. No evidence. Pick that shit up, yep.
Also, that guy in the Jeep, he might have been executed. There was also a class action lawsuit enjoining all the businesses and residents within Capitol Hill. In the lawsuit, they alleged that the city put up barriers and porta potties and basically contributed to the nuisance. This is significantly different than the Occupy movement because these people aren't just taking up a space and protesting. The city actively helped them and may have made the situation considerably worse. In one of the court documents, it says, the city of Seattle's unprecedented decision to abandon and close off an entire city neighborhood, leaving it unchecked by the police, unserved by fire and emergency health services, and inaccessible to the public at large. You should really read the entire lawsuit. It's 56 pages. It tells an incredible story of the people who live there and business owners like the guy who owns this auto shop.
Did you try to call the police or the fire department and they wouldn't show up?
We all did.
Really? You called them?
Yes.
And they just,
multiple times.
Did they say we're not going to show up? Or?
Well, at first they made it sound like they were going to show up, and then by the time I probably called them the 10th or 8th time, 8th, 10th, 11th, I don't know what number it was.
Yeah.
They basically told me they weren't going to come up. Having dinner with my wife.
Yeah.
Because it's our anniversary, and I got the phone call that somebody was breaking into the business.
Yeah.
So I left my house, came down here, and we caught the guy in our business
lighting it on fire, and we put the fire out ourselves.
Fire,
The interesting thing about this lawsuit is if it does go to trial and they win, the residents will get paid with taxpayer money. CHAZ was eventually shut down. It only took a couple of shootings, alleged rapes, alleged extortion, a protest on the mayor's lawn. Police finally came in and cleared out the area. They retook their police station. Cleanup crews spent days dealing with this and this. And then it was all over.
CHAZ is fucking dying. Oh my god, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited. Look at this. This is beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. The police are back.
But the peace did not last very long.
Well, welcome back to Inside the CHAZ. This is really not a series that I wanted to continue. This is some of the protesting going on right now. It is 1 a.m. Pacific time. No, I didn't want to go to bed and sleep anytime soon or anything. So yeah, not really sure what's going on. Looks like a calm, rational discussion between, you know, they're just trying to. Actually, who the fuck knows what they're actually trying to do?
So there were several protesters that continued to block major roads and interstates, including I-5. On July 5th, this one guy went the wrong way up an off-ramp and was traveling around on these roads that were empty and hit two of the protesters, killing one of them. And while this was entirely his fault, this was also preventable if the city had just enforced the laws and stopped these protesters from illegally closing down a major interstate. There are reasonable voices in Seattle.
This don't represent the majority of us. I get up and I go to work every day and I pay taxpayers money. I do the same thing every last one of you do. Only reason why I'm not there today because my nephew was laying up here. And from my understanding, cops nor medics could get to him.
One thing that people have talked about is wanting to abolish the police entirely.
That's crazy.
Why do you think that's crazy?
Because imagine if you get rid of the only thing that makes people afraid to commit crimes. If you get rid of the only thing that makes people afraid to commit crimes, that lets people know that, you know, if you fuck up, if they catch you, you could go to jail. People, if that's gone, people are gonna run amok.
I know people don't like Trump. I understand that. But let me tell you something. If I had to pick between him and Joe Biden, I'm not voting in Joe Biden. You want to see a bunch of black people go to jail by the next 4 years? Put Joe Biden in. Watch what happens. You want to see black men get killed substantially? Like you've never seen before? Put Joe Biden in and watch what happens. These Democrats, and I'm sorry to say this, I'm not trying to be racist, but they hate black people. These are the same people who fought to keep slavery in. These are the same people who built the KKK. These are the same people who hated us from the beginning. The Republican Party is the party of the blacks. Blacks free, the Republican Party is the only party that the black people actually assisted in finding.
And this is really great. This is apparently a local resident of Capitol Hill pushing back against the protesters.
So this is Robert Flagg right here. Uh-oh. Now Robert, we've had Robert actually on our show a few times. Robert actually lives in the neighborhood. So Robert is an Iraq veteran. Robert's an Iraq veteran who suffers PTSD.
Fuck you. What do you want to do? Fuck you. You make them assholes.
There you go, Robert Flag. Man, look.
Unfortunately, the city capitulated to the mob, ignoring the majority of their own people. While you might say this only affected a few neighborhoods, it's a pretty clear example of what happens when you remove the police. And when you give over a neighborhood to a mob that has very short-sighted goals. And this is going to continue to happen so long as cities like Seattle and Portland keep police from being able to do their jobs and give themselves over to anarchist mobs. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I hope the best for all my friends who live in Seattle. Be sure to check out my other posts and videos on battlepenguin.com and battlepenguin.video. Peace.